let's talk about the FA Cup third round. Obviously, the most entertaining, arguably, of the rounds in the FA Cup. We got some big ones there. So where should we go first? Who should be the biggest loser?
Heath.
Should we go with Heath Pearce, the Arsenal fan, or Jimmy Conrad, the Newcastle fan? Richest club in the world, losing to Cambridge United. Where should we go? Jimmy?
Heath. Like, Arsenal actually has a vibe about them. They're winning something, and then they didn't against Nottingham Forest. So I want to hear what Heath has to say.
That's true. And Nicholas Murray, by the way, Cambridge United fan as well here. So he's going to be saving up for that one. But Heath, give me your thoughts. Nottingham Forest 1-0 against the Arsenal. Thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's still not as bad as Newcastle, but it is bad because Arsenal are in form, as Jimmy mentioned, and it's an unacceptable loss. What I will say about this game, though, is there's been about a month or so that I felt a little bit stale of the teams that I follow and support. You know, I'll watch a City game because it's nice football, and I'll watch other games because of certain contexts about them. But when you see these cup competitions and what they mean to teams in the lower divisions, it just made me so happy again. Obviously, there's an American as the CEO at Nottingham Forest, and Dane Murphy, who was the one that brought Daryl Dike to Barnsley before and kind of got a lot of credit, which helped him to get this new job at Forest. So I'm happy for him. But just to see the excitement and also to see teams that get to the final 10 minutes and have no problem booting the ball as far as they can up the pitch or out of bounds and doing all these shenanigans, it was just nice to see again, and it made me happy. Obviously, I'm disappointed in the way Arsenal played. I think it's fully unacceptable. I think it's a really poor performance. And yeah, there's no other way around it other than to say that it's completely unacceptable. However, Nottingham Forest put up a fight and did what most teams in the championship know how to do, and that's fight and say, you know what, I'm going to make it really, really hard and make it ugly, and we'll play ugly, and we'll scrap, and every ball we're going to challenge for, and we're going to be first to 50-50s. And all the things that you hear as cliches in a locker room where it's like, get into the first challenge, win the second balls, get up in the air, go up with your elbow, like all of those things that made Arsenal uncomfortable from start to finish, they did. And so full credit to Nottingham Forest.
Well, I'll jump in and say that this is the second time that Arsenal have been eliminated in the third round of the FA Cup for only in the last 26 seasons. Now, I also should have mentioned when we were going which team we're going to talk about first. Arsenal have won more FA Cup trophies than anybody else. Of course, we got to talk about them getting knocked out. Newcastle, I don't even can't remember how many they won. It's definitely on one hand, if any hands at this point.
So far, though, Jimmy. So far, they got.
Okay, yeah, maybe that changes in the next 20 years when we win 13 straight or whatever with all of our oil money. But yeah, this is the one thing I'm going to say, and I'll say it for Newcastle as well. If you're going to get knocked out in a cup competition, you might as well do it in the first possible round. Now you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to commit extra resources of time and energy and effort to try to are we going to go for it this year? And now you can just settle in and be like, all right, we're focusing on the domestic league and we're focusing on Europe, which Arsenal doesn't have either. So all they have to worry about is the domestic league. Well, I guess they got League Cup semifinals too. But outside of that, that's it. And we saw how well, and we can use Inter Milan as an example, who had that at the end of the year, and then the last third of the season really kicked on because that's all Antonio Conte and his men had to concentrate on. And I think Mikel Arteta, given the talent that he has and what they've displayed already this season, could really use that to their advantage. So if you get knocked out, do it as soon as possible because you don't want to commit all that time and then lose in the semifinals and you're in the same exact spot you were if you'd lost in the third round.
Yeah, and to your point, two big objectives for respective clubs. Arsenal, they want a Champions League spot. That's what they want, the most important thing. And Newcastle, at this point, they want to stay in the Premier League. Of course, by the way, shout out to Poppy Miller, Nottingham Forest fan, by the way. He was loving that victory. All right, well, listen, Des, I know that you put up the scores earlier. Maybe you can put it up again, but there was some great results, by the way. Boreham Wood, that was fun, by the way. Oh, yes. Alan Shearer, of course, he said, well done, Cambridge. Pathetic NUFC. Yeah. Kieran Trippier, by the way, leaving Atleti to come to this. But look, here are all the results. Boreham Wood, by the way, in the 5th tier. But Kidderminster, to me, is the story, beating Reading. Kidderminster plays in the National League North. That's the 6th tier of English football. 79 places below Reading, by the way. And my goodness, they got that win. Go to the Twitter account, by the way. Absolutely amazing. But these are the remaining results from the third round. We got one more we'll talk about in a second. But Heath, any thoughts from all of these results? I mean, the FA Cup is so magical because of this very reason. In many ways, the antithesis of obviously Super League narratives, etc.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing from a bigger club standpoint was the Leicester-Watford game, and I thought Leicester were really impressive in that match, winning 4-1. But outside of that, again, I just love to look at some of these smaller clubs and that are kind of grinding their way through these performances. If you've ever been to a Millwall match, I recommend that as well. They fell to Crystal Palace, but I just love to see some of these teams again come to life and challenge, because you can see all sort of bets go off, the form, the style of play, and all these things. If you watch some of these games, it's just like you flying challenges and all kinds of wild things happening. So yeah, just overall a really fun weekend on those matches.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in and kind of put a button on this Newcastle stuff. It was disappointing. We were at home against College Town, you know what I mean, in Cambridge, and we should do better. And I thought we created enough chances to at least get a goal in that one. But similar to what Nottingham Forest did to Arsenal, you got to fight, you got to scrap, you got to do the little things, you got to win the 50-50 balls, you got to win the second balls to really put yourself in a position to beat these types of teams. And they just wanted a little bit more, and that proved to be the difference. Now, the same rhetoric I was using for Arsenal is the same. Arsenal's trying to fight for the top four. That's what matters. They want that Champions League money. They want to be in that competition. Yeah. Newcastle just need to survive. Whether we won the FA Cup for the first time since 1955, we won it 4 times, by the way. Thanks, producer Des, for making me sound smarter. We're not going to probably win it. We don't have the team to actually survive. So just get out of it. We play Watford this upcoming weekend. We are 2 points behind them in the table. Okay, they're out of the relegation zone. We're in it. That game matters more than this game against Cambridge. And that's the reality of Newcastle's situation. So, yes, it hurts, but we got to move on to next week. And we need to see a reaction. You can say all the apologies. You can go to Twitter and Instagram and apologize for how you didn't. I don't give a shit about any of that. Show up against Watford and all will be forgiven.
Yeah, and that's yet still to be seen in the league as well. So Newcastle have a mountain to climb.